If you're looking for ways to soothe a baby, then here is the good news. This is not just another video telling you to feed or rock or swaddle your baby.
Right. Instead, we are first going to share with you 4 ways to soothe your baby based on alternative medicine approaches. Next, we're also going to talk about how to create an environment in which a baby can more easily be soothed, and we're also going to share with you the recipe of a tea that could help both you and your baby relax, although only you are supposed to drink it.
Yes, and then finally we're also going to briefly talk about what you can do when our techniques do not help soothe your baby and when your baby is crying because of pain. This is Nathalie, a pregnancy and birth consultant and TCM therapist.
And that's Mathias, a researcher and Science Geek.
And on this channel we help you and your baby naturally and science-based. So let's talk about how to soothe a baby. So first of all, I think it goes without saying that you can try soothing your baby all day long, but if your baby is hungry and all your baby wants is eat, your baby is only gonna stop crying once that need is satisfied. The same often applies when your baby has a full diaper and needs it to be changed, or when your baby is feeling pain. But as already mentioned, we are gonna explain later on what you can do if your baby is crying because of pain.
Right. However, in all other cases, our alternative approaches of soothing a baby can work really well if you apply them correctly.
Yeah.
So the first alternative technique is simply to stroke with either your thumb or index finger in a downward direction between your baby's eyebrows. So you would start on the baby's forehead and stroke downwards all the way to about the center of the baby's nasal bridge. You can do this only just for a couple of seconds or even for longer until your baby has calmed down.
Yes, the reason why this is supposed to work is because in this area we can find a very powerful acupressure point which can be very effective to calm a baby. And just that you know, this acupressure point was also the focus of several scientific studies which found that massaging it can have all kinds of benefits. For example, it can help reduce anxiety. So this is the first technique that we recommend trying in order to soothe your baby.
Right. The second alternative approach to soothe a baby involves aromatherapy based on lavender. Lavender is really a plant that comes with so many benefits for babies.
Yeah.
In fact, in scientific studies, it was shown that lavender can help a baby with relaxation, sleep, pain, and even colic. However, using lavender oil on babies, even when it's diluted, is a highly controversial topic, and to date scientists are still unsure if they should recommend it for babies or not.
Yeah.
And because of that, we work with sachets filled with lavender.
Now, when it comes to applying aromatherapy to soothe a baby, one thing that has worked really well for many parents at Nathalie's clinic is using lavender sachets together with traditional approaches of soothing, like rocking.
Right.
For example, you could just put a lavender sachet underneath a muslin square when you rock your baby. Just make sure that you don't place the sachet right where your baby's head is. Place it somewhere further down. It is more than enough to expose your baby to the lavender scent. Alternatively, you can also simply put 1 or 2 sachets somewhere by your baby's crib or cot. Obviously, you don't want to hang them into your baby's face, right? That's not what we want to do here. Just put them somewhere near your baby, close enough for your baby to be exposed to the scent, but not so that your baby can reach them. And just that you know, this can also be a big help for a better night's sleep. So this is approach number 2.
Right. The third approach involves again the stimulation of acupressure points, but this time they are located on the baby's back. So for this to work, you first need to turn your baby so that your baby lies with baby's tummy on your lap. Alternatively, if your baby is still very little, you can just move one arm under your baby so that your baby's head lies on the crook of your arm. And then all you have to do is place the heel of your hand on the sacrum right above the center of the baby's buttocks, or if your baby is still very little, just use your fingers. And then just massage the area in a clockwise direction.
Yes, you can either do this for a couple of seconds only or for longer if your baby does not calm down easily. Why does this work? Well, because the sacrum comprises several acupressure points which can help calm a baby. And on top of that, this technique could also help relieve gas if gas is the issue here, right? And then while your baby is in that position, you can stimulate another acupressure point on your baby's back, which is our fourth alternative approach.
In order to find the point, you first need to find the ends of the folds of your baby's armpits. Then draw an imaginary line between the 2 points. The point you're looking for is the midpoint of that line, which is a point which lies directly on your baby's spine. Massage the point with either your thumb or your fingers in a clockwise direction for a couple of seconds or longer if you have the feeling that it calms your baby. Obviously, since we are working on the baby's spine, the pressure needs to be very gentle.
Yes, so those were our 4 alternative techniques to soothe a baby. And please note that not all of them work for every baby. You need to experiment a bit what works best in your case, because every baby is different, right? You can also try a combination of several techniques and find out if that combination works better than single techniques.
Right. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful so far and want to see more tips like the ones we just shared with you in the near future, then we invite you to subscribe to our channel and to hit the bell.
Yes.
Now, initially, we have mentioned that there are certain environments in which a baby finds it easier to calm down. In fact, one thing that we often observe is that parents try to soothe their baby in a completely overstimulating environment, and that includes your own person. So what do we mean by that?
Yeah, so first of all, if you're trying to soothe your baby while your baby is exposed to loud or disturbing music or TV sounds, or while your partner is having a meltdown because his favorite football team just did not score, that's very difficult. So if possible, try to soothe your baby in a calm environment. This means no TV, no disturbing music in the background, no other disturbing sounds as far as possible. Of course, this is not always possible, right? It very much depends on the situation and where you are at the moment, but we just want to make you aware of it.
Right. That said, one thing that does work really well for many babies sound-wise is white noise.
Yeah.
In other words, noise that is monotonic, like a fan or a dishwasher, for instance. So this can be really helpful to soothe the baby and to even put your baby to sleep.
Yes, one thing that worked really well for our son was the sound of a heartbeat. Actually, we had this plushie, I think it was a sheep or something, that you just could turn on and then you could hear the sound of a heartbeat. But back to how to create the right environment to soothe the baby.
Right. Second, make sure that you really focus on your baby in that moment. Don't try to text your friend or finish that Candy Crush level on your phone while trying to soothe your baby. Also, don't watch TV even when it's muted or have a phone call while trying to soothe your baby. Focus on your baby only, if the situation allows it, of course.
Yes, and just a side note, if you have ever wondered who the top players of Candy Crush are that make it to level 10,000 or higher,
10,000?
she's the one. Personally, I was too dumb to exceed level 50, but that's a different story.
He didn't even make it to 20.
I don't remember. Anyways, third, if possible, try to soothe your baby in an environment that is not overexposed to bright light. Remember that your baby spent 40 long weeks in a dark place. That's the kind of environment that calms them and not bright light.
Yes. And fourth, and this is the most difficult part, babies are very sensitive little things. If they sense that you are not relaxed, you will have a very hard time soothing your little one.
Yeah.
We know it's much easier to talk about these things than actually doing them.
Yeah, we have gone through this with our son as well. Hey, our son just cried for 3 hours, but don't worry, I'm totally cool, right? We know that when your nerves are thinner than the threads of a spider web, then relaxation is anything else but easy.
Yeah.
However, it is something that we want to make you aware of. And there is something that has helped lots of women at Nathalie's clinic with that exact problem. And that's a tea which is supposed to support strong nerves. You can find the recipe for that tea in the description below this video.
Yes. By the way, you may find the tea particularly helpful if you're breastfeeding for several reasons. First, the tea could help with a lack of milk supply if that lack is caused by stress.
Yeah.
And second, your baby may benefit from the tea through your breast milk too, by helping the baby relax and by reducing bloating and gas.
Yes, the only downside is that we don't know if the ingredients are available in every country. However, we really wanted to share this recipe with you.
Right. Now, if none of our approaches that we have discussed so far has helped you soothe your baby, then very often it's because the baby suffers from some kind of pain. And in my experience, there are normally 3 main causes that could cause a baby pain, given of course that the doctor did not diagnose any important medical reason for your baby's pain. So the first reason could be that the baby is gassy, bloated or constipated, which can cause tummy aches.
Yes, when that's the case, we either need to release the gas or help the baby have a bowel movement. So if you want to know how to help the baby release gas, either by burping the baby or releasing gas that made its way into the digestive system, then check out the video that you can now see somewhere at the top of your video screen. If, on the other hand, you want to know how to help a baby with constipation, then check out our other video on how to do that. You can also find both links in the description below this video.
Right. The second main reason why babies often experience pain is colic. So if you want to know how to help a baby with colic, check out the video that pops up now. And then finally, the third main reason why babies often experience pain is teasing. Unfortunately, we have not yet recorded a video on how to relieve teasing pain, but we hope to do this very soon. And if we have recorded that video already by the time when you watch this video, you should now be able to see a pop-up on your screen.
Yes, by the way, the tips and tools that we share in our videos here on YouTube are just examples of the many things that we teach parents in our Healthy Lions Club. Our club is all about empowering parents so that they are able to help their little ones in natural ways. Not only to soothe their little ones, but also to help them with other issues, including cough, teething, sleep, colic, a cold, poor appetite, and much more. Unfortunately, spaces are limited in our Healthy Lions Club, so we cannot always offer a slot. However, we absolutely recommend checking out our website to learn more about our Healthy Lions Club and to see if slots are available. Link can be found in the description below this video.
We really hope that at least one of our approaches helped you soothe your baby. If you did find our video helpful, we would be super grateful if you could leave us a like.
Yes, and for more useful tips and tools on pregnancy and baby related topics, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell.